This past weekend, we officially close out the 2022 season with the completion of the 2-day 6-race format in Paris that saw Eli Tomac take a narrow lead over Ken Roczen going into the final day, leading everyone in the sport to expect the obvious here. Tomac is about to cap off that best season ever. But it was not meant to be. He made a rare mistake in his Super Pole lap that cost him dearly, seeing him line up 10th on the gate for the first race when his rival Roczen sitting P1. Ken did exactly what he needed to do, sweeping all three main events in the second day to end his own season with a bang and send Eli home with a second on his resume for the first time this year. Welcome back to another RacerX Rapid News Report brought to you by Fly Racing. My name is Donnie, and if you watched the Paris broadcast this weekend on MXGP TV, you also saw a feisty and hungry Ken Roczen. This weekend, maybe the best we've seen Ken in a long time. Sure, the format fit him. Short races on a tighter track are always going to favor the sprinter, not to mention the chip on his shoulder as we are just 8 weeks away from the start of the 2023 season and he still does not have a ride. But unlike many of the videos across all channels in recent weeks, this video is not about Kenny. Just one day before his 30th birthday, Eli Tomac was chasing history. Last month, he became just the 8th rider to pull off the triple crown of winning Supercross, Motocross, as well as represent the winning team at Motocross of Nations. And without an official team affiliation, he went out to the only World Supercross event that rules would allow and just casually swept that too, winning every single main event in the process. But it was not meant to be, as Eli was held winless on Sunday, finishing 3-2-2, narrowly missing the results he needed to be crowned the King of Paris. But honestly, who cares? Certainly not Eli. With all due respect to Roczen and the poise he showed this weekend, beating his chief championship rivals on what many would call a privateer bike, this was just another offseason race, and Tomac seemed to treat it as such. He went out and gave the fans a great show, but he was not interested in putting himself in a position to jeopardize his health to start 2023, just to cap off some quote-unquote perfect season that fans and media just sort of made up on the fly after he dominated Cardiff in World Supercross. Eli Tomac is going to be okay. It's actually the Red Bull KTMs that have something to worry about after this weekend. They were noticeably off the pace and had nothing to say about Eli and Ken making it their own show, and were actually upended by the 30-year-old Brayton, who practically came out on a retirement tour. We'll give Marv and Cooper the same benefit of the doubt that we give Eli here, that it's just an off-season race with no real prize for these national and world champions that are paid just to show up. But for someone as competitive as Cooper Webb, ending the weekend a combined 88 seconds off the lead pace after 6 short races isn't exactly renewing his will to race, and proves that the Red Bull squad still has work to do before we see Coop line up in Anaheim. But Monday morning, me is still thinking about Tomac. Where does his 2022 campaign fit in among the all-time great seasons in the sport? Is this the best season ever? As great as they were, Stu and Ricky's signature years featured perfect 24-0 outdoor seasons that came off the back of injury-plagued Supercross seasons that just saw the two riders combine for just 2 finishes. The King of Supercross went 14-1 indoor, but famously he missed out on back-to-back outdoor titles by just a few points after pulling off frustrated earlier in the year. It's easy to point to Ryan Dungey's 2010 campaign as the definitive year, as he won it all in his very first season in the class, but there will forever be an asterisk next to it because his greatest rivals, Stewart, Trey Canard, Chad Reed, and Ryan Villapoto, all suffered injuries in the Supercross season, and that leaves Ryan Villapoto's 2011 campaign, the first and currently only Grand Slam performance as RV took the indoor and outdoor title, leading the US alongside Dungey and Baggett in France before sweeping the inaugural Monster Energy Cup and the $1 million that comes with it. But Eli's year feels special. Unlike the Ryans who launched their super years at the beginning of their careers, Eli did it on the cusp of his 30th birthday in his final full season. And he did so against 3 champions that are entering the season still in their prime, in addition to holding off a red-hot Chase Sexton, who scored more points than anyone else to not win the championship. Although he shouldn't be penalized for the disillusion of Monster Cup, or that the rules only allowed him to race 1 round of World Supercross, is his performance in those off-season races enough to offset Villo's Monster Cup? Will we look back in 10 years and view the season in the same way we view these others? That's all for this edition of RacerX Rapid News presented by Fly Racing. Be sure to visit racerxonline.com for all of your motocross and supercross news. And let me know in the comments which season you think was the greatest in the history of our sport. Thanks for watching.